I started reading these palmistry books, and I'll be darned if all of this, the health didn't show in your hand. It's a good indication, because the nerves all come off that spine. Then they end up in your hands and your feet. And so it will show any problems that you're having in your body on your hands. So, starting in between the thumb and the Jupiter finger, going along that head and spine line, underneath the Jupiter finger, it's going to show your cervical vertebrae, 1 through 7. And underneath the Saturn finger, it's going to show your thoracic vertebrae, 1 through 12. Under the Sun finger, it will show your lumbar vertebrae, 1 through 5. And underneath that Mercury finger, it's going to show your the tailbone, your sacrum, your coccyx. And I say I discovered these when I was reading these books, because I found this old book. It's not in print anymore. It's written by a medical doctor, Dr. Eugene Scheiman, and he tells how you can see the spine in the hand, because all the nerves in there. And by golly, it's true. Some people will take this spine chart, and it exactly matches up with their x-rays that they have. So every place that I've marked in the red areas in that spine, that's where you're out of place. Now you see, you're out of place quite a bit right there in the base of that, bottom of that cervical area, and at the top of that thoracic area. You've actually got the interneck. That's from bending over the computer a lot. You don't have to bend over that computer very much, 2 or 3 hours, and those vertebrae kind of slide out of place. And I've got a little therapy that will help that. My doctor told me, he says you can do this little therapy, and it says it kind of pops that neck area back into place. I show my office workers, that bend over those computers all day long, how to do this, and boy, they say their spines feel a lot better when they do this little therapy. It's really easy. You either sit up straight in a chair or stand up, put your arms right straight out in front of you, and lock your fingers together. Now turn your palms over backwards, and you raise your arms above your head. That means your palms are facing the ceiling, and your arms are straight. I'll push your arms back behind your head, back, and you'll hear that bottom base of that neck go pop, pop, pop. It's popping those vertebrae back in place that have been stressed when you're leaning over the computer all the time. I used to read palms in the 1998, 96, 97, 98, before the advent of computers. And boy, I didn't see the necks out of place like I see them now. Almost all the hands that I get, the necks are out of place. And I get hands from all over the world. But that neck, so I've just determined that's called the interneck, when that neck's out of whack. Anyway, you do that little therapy and straighten up that the base of that neck, and you'll see a lot of your medical problems go away, because that stress right there. Or go see a chiropractor, get your spine straightened out. You might have to do that anyway. If you're out of place in the top part of that spine, it usually throws you out in the lower part of the spine to compensate for the top part being, and it'll throw you out in the opposite way. It'll turn the opposite way in the lower spine, which is what yours has done. Because you're out, although you're out kind of in the middle too. And you've done something, had a car accident or bicycle accident, or do you ride horses? Let me see where you're from. Oh, you're in Saudi Arabia. Contact sports will sure throw your spine out of place. I don't know what kind of sports you'd play in your school. Soccer, that's really hard on you. You wouldn't. Football's really hard. If you got boys, football's really hard on the spine. I don't think you play that. That's usually for the United States. Soccer's kind of hard. Gymnastics, any accidents, car accidents, or bike accidents, or horse accidents. I had a bunch of little guys here in the States. We have what we call rodeos, and the cowboys and the cowgirls do their little thing. They wrangle the horses and the cows, and they always pick a princess and or a queen and two little princesses for the rodeo from the cowgirls. And so I'd set up my little table outside the rodeo and was reading poems, and the queen and her two princesses came over to the table. They had their hands read. Oh, their little spines were just jammed. Oh my goodness, I felt so bad. They were only 19 and 20 years old. And the little queen girl, her spine was jammed just terrible. I looked up and I said, doesn't your back hurt? And she said, oh, you can't believe how bad my back hurts, because it bounced up and down on those saddles all day. She said, we had to go out there halftime during the rodeo and ride around that arena and wave and smile at everybody. And she says, all the time that I'm waving and smiling, she says, I just got big old tears running down my cheeks because my back hurts so bad. Oh, see where I've got that little red asterisk there, right underneath where it says Sixth Sense, underneath the Jupiter finger? It says this area is causing the hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's. Because look, right there, where you're out placing that lower neck area, is the 7 cervical vertebrae. That's your thyroid gland. That'll cause some problems in your shoulders and your elbows too. And then right there in the top part of that thoracic area, right at the base of the neck again, that's your heart nerves. That's what's causing some stress on that heart line. Okay, going along that headline, you're getting a depression line. See, there's a little black asterisk. Go down to the bottom of the page there. Depression line, it's only in your left hand, which means you're probably getting the depression. But you're probably, it says only on the left hand, which means you are probably depressed, but taking antidepressants. I'm sure you've gone to your medical doctor and he's prescribed you some antidepressants. And then what that does, that keeps those lines from forming in the right hand, but they still show in the left hand because the left hand is your past. So you're still having the depression that's being caused in your body, because it shows in the left hand but not the right hand. I didn't see the depression line too much. Oh, if you look really hard, you can see a little bit of the depression line in the right hand. But taking the antidepressants isn't going to cure the problem. Straightening up that spine is going to cure it. Now, right underneath where it says depression line, look underneath where it says health line. That's your internal organs. That's your colon, your spleen, your liver, generally the organs in the lower part of your body. So when you're out of place in that lower part of the spine, that's going to throw the organs into a little fit, and they're going to stress. They're going to, it pinches the nerves, and they send little nerve signals, and they don't quit. They go 24 hours a day. When that's turned out of place, in that spine, it pinches those nerves. They don't quit sending the signal all the time. The only thing that's going to straighten that up is if you straighten up that spine and get the spine working good. So, let me tell you how you keep that spine straightened out. We were doing a fundraiser for our secondary school, and I'd set up my table in the gym at the school, and I had a bunch of ladies come in the gym, and two of them came over to my table and had their hands read. Well, I read their hands, and they had perfect spines, and I couldn't believe it. And they were laughing and giggling, and they motioned their girlfriends to come over, and I read all their hands. There were 7 of them all together. And all 7 of those women had perfect spines. And I looked up from my table, and I said, "Oh, are you girls trying to trick me or something?" And they just laughed, and they thought it was the funniest thing. And one of the girls finally walked over to my table, and she said, "Well, Kat, I better tell you," she says, "we're the walking club. We walk 7 miles every day." She says, "and when we walk at a good fast clip." Well, that makes sense, because those two muscles from the legs go up and hook on the back muscles, and the 2 back muscles run alongside this spine, and when you walk, especially at a good fast pace, they go up and down, up and down, up and down, and it strengthens those back muscles, so it holds that spine in good alignment. So that's one of the best things that you can do for your spine, is to get out and walk. I would get my spine put in place first before you go out and walk, and then get out there and walk and keep that spine in good alignment. That's just good help. And I will almost guarantee that you'll see that Hashimoto's and that the thyroid problems, you'll see that go away when you get that spine straightened up. And my guess is that autoimmune disease will kind of go away, and it'll help you with the with being overweight too, because when you get out and walk, of course it burns up those calories, and it just makes you so you're not very hungry. I'm going to send my I've got a cancer sheet that tells you how to eat. All you got to do is just eliminate the bread and the starches from your diet, and the weight just drops off. Just concentrate on eating your fruits and vegetables, and 7 ounces of protein a day. And that line now, you get that spine straightened up, and that will all clean up on that head line. Your depression line will go away. Don't get off the depression pills just immediately, because you have to kind of wean yourself off those. Kind of reduce those a little bit at a time. I'm sure your doctor told you that. And that heart line will clean up. That head line will clean up. And that health line, you'll get just one clean line on that health line. And right now you've got a whole bunch of fussy little extra lines in there. You want to see one clean line just going from the faint line up to that money line.